stod.
Are we going live? I was trying to catch something on the microphone.
Ett ögonblick, tidningen hämtas.
Yes. So, that voice is coming from this tiny PC. And this is one of the old so-called pratsam computers.
Tidningen hämtas.
And these were essentially newspaper readers that were given out to visually impaired people in the beginning of the 2000s. And they have this internal speaker and amp, and
Ett ögonblick, tidningen hämtas.
they're absolutely cute and they speak to you. However, the service has since been shut down. I got my hands on a couple of these because of that, and they're completely worthless now. When you turn them on, this is all they do. They give you a Linux prompt on the monitor and they try to fetch some URL which doesn't exist anymore, and that's about it. So, since these are worthless as they stand, I'm not sure what kind of hardware this is. Some tiny integrated VIA thing from like 2004 probably. Let's quiet that down. I thought we'd do something just with a case, maybe. Because I happen to have this cute Intel motherboard, which used to be in the big touchscreen PC right here, but it's been removed and has just been collecting dust for the last year or so. So I thought we'd give it a go, trying to just fit this in here and turn this into like a tiny, cute, slowish workstation, but at least something that might be usable. So this PC is weird. Let's just turn this off so we don't break something. It is weird. It has what seems to be the amplifier module out of a set of computer speakers or something of that nature, just kind of poked in there. This is a small production run, shall we say. And they have a volume knob on the front which goes to that, and a small internal case speaker, probably one from the speaker set they slaughtered to build this thing. So hopefully we can actually recycle this and turn it into a little system speaker. I think it just goes to like the 1897 8-bit of a motherboard if it has one. So it could be quite serviceable. It also, I think, has an ATX power supply of some sort. It takes 12 volts DC in, and yeah, that obviously comes out here, so something's hiding underneath there. Oh god, my PC is going haywire. So I think we have some pretty standard stuff. I'm not seeing a 12 volt CPU connector coming out of this though. So yeah, we're going to have some issues getting that sorted. But let's just start by ripping all this extraneous stuff off and seeing what the power supply is like, and go from there. This thing is surprisingly quite fresh. The fans don't make noise. It was quite dusty, but I sorted that out. And yeah, should be quite serviceable. Don't think we're going to be using the 512 megabyte Kingston compact flash for booting anymore, though that's probably going to get turned into a SATA SSD. But yeah, I've had these for a few years. I've never actually given them any thought at all, so I have no idea how to get this apart. I wasn't initially going to stream this. I just figured, hey, I'm going to be taking one of these apart for fun, so might as well share the joy. So the front panel only comes off that far because we have the volume control, which is soldered to the amp going, so we need to unbolt the volume potentiometer, which seems to be stuck down quite well. That is stuck down very, very well. Oh, and the potentiometer seems to be glued. Yeah, it's hot glued in. So, okay. The front panel is not going to move more than like a little bit. We have some slack in the wiring, there we go. Beautiful hot glue job there. No marking. Very nice volume knob, metal insert and all. Well, I guess we can just shove it back on. Wow, this is all mangled and cut up to fit. These are very manually made. So to fit the new motherboard, we're definitely going to have to get rid of this CD reader. I think it's just a CD reader. Oh no, DVD. Wow. Modern. Someone says, these are some quite above average sized buttons. Yes, this is a keypad that belongs to this thing. It's actually just a PS2 keyboard. This will work with any PC. These are mapped to various letters on the keyboard. Sadly, I don't think these are actually arrow keys. I brought this out because the last time I tried one of these, the server was actually still up. So it would like say, you have no valid subscription, and then it would tell you which key you've pressed. So you could be like, up, right, left, down, up, refresh. And it was a hilarious show, but sadly since the server's down, that doesn't work anymore. But those keyboards are certainly amazing. They have some weird mechanism. I haven't taken them apart, but they're not clicky, sadly. Anyway, let's see how we can get. I really want to get underneath that to see the power supply. So we're going to have to snip that and probably get rid of that. Oh, that's hacky. That's really hacky. What's actually holding this in place? It's got tiny screws there, but there are also two big screws holding the entire assembly in place. Perhaps we can get those out of the way. Someone's asking, what is this thing? This is a newspaper reader that they gave out to visually impaired people, like in 2005-ish. This one dates from 2006. And this thing, you could either put a CD in it, a CD subscription, or it would connect to the internet and download a readable newspaper from a service, and it would just read it to you, probably text-to-speech it. And old people who could no longer read, or people who just could never read because they were visually impaired, could enjoy the local newspaper. But they cancelled the service like a year or so ago, so these are completely worthless now for their original purpose. So we have a tiny power supply in there. That looks really tiny. I wonder if this is even going to have enough juice to power our CPU. Doubtful. Like what I'm trying to do is I want to get to this motherboard mounted in it so we can turn this cute VIA based super slow thing from 15 years ago into a cute little modern workstation. But I'm looking at this power supply. I think we've run into a roadblock already. I don't think we're going to be able to get enough 12 volt current out of this thing, although this could actually just have a 12 volt pass through since the AC adapter is 12 volts. Someone says, sell me the VIA board! Exclamation point. Do you ship to Finland? Sure. Send me an email. You can find my email address on the, I think, about page on the YouTube channel. And we'll go from there. I don't know what's actually in this board. I don't know if it's a VIA. Back in a sec, I need to get a glass of water. Beautiful human noises right there. Absolutely professional broadcasting. Right. So I really want to see this power supply close up. Let's get it out. If it's just a pure 12 volt pass through, we could potentially get this working. I think I have like a huge 12 volt power supply belonging to some Dell ultra small form factor thing from ages ago. So here we have it, a Morex 0624_PF, and it has absolutely no specs on it. SH6080 something says. Now what is this thing? What is it even going to be putting out? Are we going to be able to find anything on this? Let's do a Googles. I want to know if this thing can put out enough 12 volts current to power our thing. So let's try Morex 0624. I'm getting all kinds of weird Polish things. That seems wrong. What's an SH6080? SH6080. Oh, it's on Amazon. Something 60-80 watts. Do we get any kinds of specs on this thing? Fluffy Floofer in chat says, hello, I'm awfully fluffy. Well, that's good on you. Oh, we have an official web page. Is that still up? morex.com.tw, and it's throwing all kinds of web server errors. They apparently make some actually nice looking PC cases. Huh, I'm surprised. They have some kind of info on something. No, that's a different one. Watching someone Google without screen capture, I'm sure, is an amazing experience. I don't know if we're going to get any info out of this actually. Something eBay. I just want to know how much 12 volt current we can get out of this thing. If it's even got a 12 volts DC-DC converter, or if it's just pure pass-through. But I don't think we're going to be finding out actually. Let's give one. Oh, how we go? One website has some info. .5 amps. That's not enough. This is not going to power our i5 at all. This is not going to power our i5 at all. 2.5 amps at 12 volts is not enough. That's a shame. That's a real shame. I do have another a similar type of thing, but that's sitting in another project, and it's going to be awfully annoying to actually get out of that. 2.5 amps at 12 volts, wow. I'll have 5 amps at 5 volts. What a dinky power supply. Gosh, this could just like barely power an atom. Anthony Valente says, bonjour, Monsieur FF, bonjour. Some Novoi Perkele says he'll trade me that motherboard for a Pico PSU. Can a Pico PSU power like a first gen i5 that's relatively beefy? I'll go for it. Straight off trade, that's all. That's fine by me. I just like want to be able to shove this thing in here with minimal effort, because this board is just lying around getting wasted otherwise. And yeah. Oh god, we have custom looming going on. So this is going to be audio. Oh no, that's USB. This is Firewire. Firewire. This is CD audio. Someone says, again, why not just put a small form factor power supply? Because I don't have one. I'm not going to spend any money on this. This is just a fun thing. So we have very custom looming. So we have 12 volts going to the amplifier board. Let's just get it out of the way. Someone says the stream is bad. I'm paying a lot of money for fiber in here, so I'm going to bet the stream is broken in your end. Right, here's our audio path for the weird internal speaker amplifier. And that's going to the headphone thing on the front of the case. And it's also going to the speaker. This is weird. Where is it actually getting audio from? We have... Okay, this is very, very hacky. So, we have left here on the audio amp board, obviously ripped out of some desktop speaker set. Left going through this. This used to be one of these wires, and it's going to a jumper on the motherboard. Where are they getting ground from? Like they're getting signal and audio ground through the power supply. Jeez. So I'm guessing this is like a audio enable thing. Is it like... I think this is bridging the analog CD input straight to the output there. Weird. That certainly is a way of doing things. That certainly is a way of doing things. And we're also getting custom looming to power our 512 meg compact flash. Someone says, sure it's not a front panel audio connector? Oh yeah, it's labelled F audio actually. So yeah, you're absolutely right, that's the front panel audio connector, not something special. They're just using a weird way of connecting to it. So I think we have all our custom looming here. So this is our combined ATX power cord compact flash adapter audio amp loom. That's something. That certainly is something. Wow. Mac Flapper, you're the only person complaining about the stream quality. I will tell you that I'm using an APU from 2013 to code this video, so it is going to be slightly blocky, but it looks absolutely fine on my end. And it looks fine on my YouTube feedback as well. Someone's asking, what is this thing? This is a so-called Pratsam box. This is a PC that they used to give out to visually impaired people, which would connect to a server hosted by someone, and the local newspapers could upload like transcripts of their newspaper articles to that server, and this would fetch it and text-to-speech read it to people. So it would go onto the internet, fetch a newspaper and read it to people. So it's a small x86 PC with a super custom audio amp thing, and it's running some kind of very custom Linux on this, and it would just boot, download today's newspaper as long as you've got a valid subscription, and you could use the giant custom keypad to navigate through the menus, or rather navigate through the newspaper. So you'd probably have like, I don't know, volume up, volume down, next page, previous page, next chapter, pause. I have no idea what the dice are. But alas, the service has been shut down. They've moved to something more modern, and I got my hands on a bunch of these. They were like, hey, we're going to be tossing all of these out, do you want them? And I was like, yeah, sure. These are quite fresh for what they are, and what we're trying to do is just fit a small, slightly more modern board in it to turn this into a useful, cute thing that I just dropped. No, just a useful, cute, modern workstation. Not that my first Gen i5 ever is very modern, but compared to whatever this is, it is. But I don't even know if the new board is going to fit, like height-wise, because this is a very slim chassis. So the front panel is not labelled at all, which is annoying if I want to hook this up in the future. So we have our terrible old camera, which we can just use to take care of that problem. Now why are you not doing what I want you to do? There we go. So now we can rip this out and have a closer look at the motherboard. Novoy Perkele asks if I want to trade the motherboard for a Flex ATX power supply. I don't think we could fit a Flex ATX in here because our power input is a 12 volt DC connector. It has to be a DC-DC converter to actually fit in this case, and I don't want to like hack in an IEC on this. It would just be too ugly. So here is our motherboard. VIA. Lots of VIA on this. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I haven't even been into the BIOS on this thing. They boot so quickly that it just goes straight into Linux, and I haven't had a shot at actually looking at it. Do I have any markings on this? It says EPIA-M10000G LVDS. Is that the model number? Do we have LVDS on this? It says EPIA-M. Is that the model? What's the brand on this thing? EPIA-M. Can we get any info on that? EPIA-M. Something about MPEG-2 acceleration. Integrated via AGP graphics with MPEG-2 decoding acceleration. Onboard floppy pin header. Someone says it's a VIA EPIA 1.6 or 1.2 CPU. Someone else asked if that was the sound of an IBM Model M. No, it's the sound of an IBM Model N2, the smaller version of a Model M, which is much better in my opinion. Does it not say what CPU this thing actually has? C3 or E series? Via C3, that's ancient and slow. We're getting hit from 2002 for this. Wow. Let's just clutter. Let's just power this on and see if we have a chance to get into the BIOS. Oh god, I'm going to need my custom loom, which is also attached to everything. Yes, this is how you do it. I just want to see more specifically what this thing actually is. How much of this stuff is shorting out. We have things everywhere which are attached to other things all over. Yes, that's good. Need a monitor cable. We don't have any kind of screen capture for this monitor, so it's going to be a bit lame. Not going to stick around. Does this thing even support USB keyboards? Let's hope it does. I'm just new enough to have integrated LAN and integrated audio, so you'd hope so. Shit, we need a DC input as well, which is zip tied to everything. This is complete not a chaos. I should have done this before taking it out of a case. But what can you do? What's life without a bit of chaos? So let's try not to have that shorting to everything. Where's my power? That's my power. That's on. Let's turn that off. Do that. Are we set? I think we are. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to like jab a screwdriver in there. Let's see if we're gonna have a chance to get into the BIOS on this thing. Does this thing seriously not support USB keyboards at all? I think this thing does not support USB keyboards at all. Good thing we have an IBM Model N2 at hand. Shame I'm going to have no keyboard on. Beep. Okay. Let's see. Guessing delete for BIOS. Yes, we are in the BIOS. Oh, amazing. This is one of the ancient ones which have like no system info. I basically just want to know what CPU we have in this thing, but I don't think we're going to find out. We have 256 megs of RAM. But yeah, that's all we're going to find out. Can we pause this? My monitor's too slow. It doesn't have a chance to turn on before we get to the PXE ROM. Ah, damn it. It keeps getting to the PXE ROM before I get a chance to see the actual BIOS splash screen. Oh, this thing is too fast. It's too fast! We can get into the BIOS, but we can't, like, stop it on the like, first splash screen. Usually the pause key does that, but it had something about ESC as well. You can get a boot menu that way. Someone's asking, when can we expect more CRT videos? Whenever something pops up. I'm not sure if did I do a video about my CRT TV? I don't remember. I got a CRT TV a while ago, but it just worked, so it wasn't very interesting. But yeah, we're not going to find anything else out about this thing. We have no credentials for the Linux thing it came with, and we can't see anything in the BIOS, so... Oh, Jesus Christ! That's a strong USB plug. A very strong USB plug. This thing does run quite warm. The whole board is heated up just from being on for like a minute. Someone says Linux, reset the password. I am not Linux savvy enough to do that quickly. The RAM is 256 megs, 333 megahertz DDR1. But yeah, no voi perkele, if you wanna trade this for something, just throw me an email. You can have this cheaply. So, well, we're not going to be able to... Oh shit, probably want to hook my keyboard back up and pray that my monitor, that my PC manages to redetect it, which Windows usually does not. If I can even find the plug. Oh God. Accessing the plugs on this touchscreen PC is a bad time. Ugh. There are so many things connected. Come on. No, we are. I think we are not reconnecting my keyboard. So I don't have a keyboard anymore. Oh well. Oh well. Now let's see what the chat's got to say. Someone asked, do you have a hard drive for this thing? I have a 512 megabyte compact flash card. Yeah, let's just move on and see if we can even fit a new motherboard in this case. I think we're going to be able to, but I'm not sure. I definitely want to keep that. Let's just get all this stuff in here somewhere so we can actually close the case up. So, I do not need this. Is that going to go? Oh wow, that is so tight. That is going to be so incredibly tight. Why are you not fitting right? I have a standoff so short that the processor main thing is hitting the bottom of the case. Yes. Ha. Wow. These are really short standoffs. Like, the processor is resting with its backplate on the case. We actually have to bend the board down a bit to make it fit. But let's see. Oh God, where did I put the case cover? Let's just see if this cooler is going to clear the case. If it does, this could be a cute thing. Come on. Hey, look at that. Haha, that's not too bad. It's not even touching. That's pretty cool. Don't mind that. We can easily have ourselves a tiny little workstation out of this. Someone says that will so overheat. Who cares? This is all free hardware. It does have dual fans. We could probably do something to do the cooling in this decent-ish. Someone says, is there enough clearance to get decent airflow to the CPU? No, there is not. but we can fit a power supply in there still. A power supply which does not at all, which is not compatible with our CPU at all. So that is annoying. Like 2.5 amps on the 12 volt, that is so completely useless. So we're not going to be able to power this on even with this, like... I know this system draws about 50 watts from the grid. Like if you use it with a normal power supply, it would have like several amps of draw on the 12 volts just to start this thing, so we're not like this thing is just going to go and start smoking if we even try, unless it's just like a pure pass through on the 12 volts. In which case we could, like if this thing, if the only thing this does is switch the 12 volt on off, it doesn't go through a converter, we could actually just put a fatter MOSFET on here and it'd work. I wonder. I do wonder, so if we trace this out a bit, we have 12 volts labelled there. That goes with a fat trace to this transistor, which goes... hang on, let's have a look at this under the microscope. I think we can make this thing put out more current. I think. Let us have a closer look. I think the bottleneck is just how much current one MOSFET can do while being statically powered on. And if that's an N-channel FET, we can just take anything out of literally anything and make it work. We're going to need that. We're going to need lights, camera and action, and less magnification. So, we have 12 volts right there. Let's verify with the pin out on the ATX connector for a second. It's in the corner. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, so that is indeed 12 volts. We have a single pin of 12 volts there, which runs in that trace to a V over there, and to a 4435 GM, 44356M. It's either a G or a 6. 44356M. Let's see what that is. Ah, fuck, I don't have a keyboard. Could someone please Google whatever this thing is and tell me what it is? Because I don't have a keyboard, I can't type it in. Well, I do have a touchscreen though, I suppose. But it would be helpful if you did it anyway. I'm gonna bet this is like a 3 amp MOSFET. Let's just probe on while you guys do your thing. So let's just beep this out. I'm gonna bet this goes straight to 12 volts. So it goes through a choke, I think, probably. No, it doesn't even go through a choke. It just goes like we have ground on this side, 12 volts there, goes in this tiny trace over there, and you would think perhaps it goes into that inductor, but no, it does not. That trace does not go to the inductor, it just keeps on going straight past the inductor to a tiny filter cap, to our transistor, to 12 volts. People are saying that's a 7 to 9 amp P channel MOSFET. Well, that's annoying. 7 amps though, that's not too bad. 70 watts. But P channel, that's annoying. I don't know if I have any P channel FETs at all anywhere. Why can't you be an N channel? We could just... I mean, this is not regulated, so we can just bring... like we can take our input from here, put that to the gate of literally any MOSFET ever, and oh no, we need to do positive side switching on this. Yeah, that's why we use a P channel. That's annoying. That's annoying. But you know what we can use? A relay. We can use a relay powered from the 12 volts, which literally just goes to the power connector. Like, all we need to do to turn this power supply from a 2.5 amp power supply to a as much as your wall walls can do power supply is a relay. Of course, I'm gonna fetch a relay. I wish I had face cam, because that was a revelation that put a smile on my face. Relay, 12 volts. What's this? 12 amps. 12 amps is fine. Relay. We do not need the microscope for this. So, we also have a bunch of unused space there, so we can put a relay there. How could I forget that we have relays in the world? Someone says, just leave it as it is and use the relay with a ATX 12 volt header. That is what I intend to do. We will need an ATX 4-pin power connector, and I'm going to run off camera down to the basement with a pair of snips and find a suitable power supply. We can probably also grab like a SATA power connector so we don't have to use a dodgy adapter. Let's see. Aha. Perfect. Let's just bring the whole thing up. This used to be a Corsair VS550. we have all the plugs we need. Way too much of them. But it's the one that was on the top of a pile. This is going to be beautiful. Someone asks, so you do not want to burn your house down with a SATA power adapter? I do not. And I don't even know if we have any extra Molexes on this thing. Everything's occupied. We do not need any sleeving. I always say this sleeving though, it's excellent for looming stuff outside of PC cases. Like all my cameras use like recycled power supply riser stuff to loom like HDMIs and power cables. These are identical, aren't they? They are not. Which one do we want? Are you gonna fit? Yes. So this is gonna run like to something like that. And we will need a SATA power cable like this. And we need to splice that one to something, probably just to shrink wrap some wires. Yeah, easiest to just shrink wrap some wires. So that's going to go from like, I will just take, and I really don't want to have any extra. Like the drive goes right beside the power supply. Actually, we really don't need a lot of wire on this. Actually, hang on. Getting off camera again. If we can just shove a SATA power connector onto our Molexy stuff. Yeah, I think that might actually be easiest. I think I have a SATA. Oh god. Microphone cables ruining everything since they were invented. I have had a SATA power connector like right here. But it's lost forever. Oh no. There we go. SATA power connector. So we don't need anything more from the Corsair power supply. I'm assuming this is an NO relay. Let's make sure. Oh, is this an NC relay? That's an NC relay, so we need to get another one. Good thing we checked. Do I have another one? I do not. Do I have a 5-volt relay? No. How can I be out of relays? Well, that sucks. Do we have a relay in the Corsair power supply? I don't think so. No. Well, that's annoying. So I'm gonna have to run down and like find a broken thing with a 12-volt relay in it, which we can steal. Hey, what's this? Aha! Aha. I think we might be in luck. Let's hope that HP were not very eco-conscious in like 2003, and this is a normally open relay. Oh shit, gonna need the soldering irons, they're not even on. This is probably 10 amps, it's gonna be fine. Let's see what the chat's got to say while we wait for those to warm up. Someone's asking, quick rundown. We are taking all of this and like turning it into not a horrifying nightmare. Also, I have shown people this, which is a very strange keyboard with a PS2 connector. And we have basked in the glory of this VIA C3 motherboard, which actually works, but is too slow. I think we have one warm soldering iron now, so I think we're going to try and rip the relay off. Oh no, I care too much. I want this desoldering pump to actually heat up. Oh shit, it's almost midnight already, Jesus Christ. Time flies when you're doing hacky stuff. Jeez. I wish I had a face camera. I have a webcam that's literally dedicated to sitting on a shelf right than looking at me, but because of the retarded drivers for my HDMI USB capture things, it just doesn't work on this installation of Windows. Like, it will not work whatever I do. It worked before I installed the HDMI drivers, and now it just died. So we only have like the HDMI cameras and the microscope. But soon we are building a much fancier streaming PC. Yeah, that's a teaser for you. We are building a streaming PC for the grand total cost of €125. It's not this PC, it's a different PC. But the new streaming PC is going to be pretty cool. It's going to have an i5 6600K, 2 video capture cards which are not included in that price, and 16 gigs of DDR4. I've been very lucky in getting my hands on some really cheap, relatively modern stuff recently. Like 16 gigs of DDR4 for €50, brand new. Let's see how this relay comes out. I think it's gonna be these pins. Okay, here's to hoping this is a normally open relay. It seems to be. This is going to be a choke, yeah, 400 ohms. And this is a 12 volt DC relay, absolutely standard. So, that's what we need. 10 amps. So what we're gonna do is run some wires on this. So we're going to be jumpering from, we have, I don't actually think this grid is a ground. No, the grid over here is not connected anywhere. To those who are just joining us, this is a 60 watt ancient ATX power supply. It takes 12 volts in here and puts it out here in ATX spec. However, this thing will put out a whole 2.5 amps on the 12 volt rail, which is not enough to power even a fan. So what we're doing is we're taking this relay and connecting that straight to the 12 volt input and triggering it from the switch 12 volt output, and we're going to be connecting. Where did it go? Where did it go? I've lost the really important thing we needed. Where is the really important thing we needed? Is it this thing? I don't think so. This has all gone wrong. Where's my ATX 12 volt power connector? Oh well, here's another one. So we're going to be connecting a CPU power through the relay directly to the power brick. We're not going to really be following the ATX spec on this, but I don't think this thing is either. This is just doing literally the same thing. It's just switching everything through a MOSFET while we're using a relay. Let's clean this up slightly and take some magical tape and just tape the relay down. Where's my booze? Where is my booze? I use alcohol all the time. How can I keep losing it? Well, that's ridiculous. I have lost my alcohol syringe a lot more than I usually do. So we're going to be using window cleaner instead. Just to, oh, rest in peace serial number. Just to clean the surfaces off so that the tape will stick. And for tape we will use this magical stuff. This is a thermal adhesive from China. You use it for LED strips in TVs and stuff, and it's just basically miracle tape. It's super duper strong. Perhaps it would be smarter to make a relay like that, because that gives us a lot more tape area. Let's do it that way. Let's take a new piece of tape. If we do it like so, I don't think we're going to be shorting against anything. Alex Cabcam says, "Whoa, I'm on it, an FF Cossack stream. Hi, Mom." If your mom is watching this, she has impressive taste. There we go. Someone says, "I hope the relay switches faster than the power good signal." I'm sure it does. I'm sure it's good enough. And I think this is going to work just fine. Well, I was going to put the tape on the other side of the relay. I completely screwed that up. So this is going to be really annoying to solder now. God damn it. Yeah, we're just redoing that. Rip tape. I want these guys to be a bit above the PCB because it's going to be annoying otherwise. Soldering right next to this stuff without actually connecting to it. Can this thing die? It can. Let's try that again. And let's put the tape on the right side this time. Never waste anything. Rip. And this goes there. Beautiful. Now that's never going to go anywhere ever again. So now we need to jump a wire over there for the choke. Do we have relay protection over the 12 volt? I would imagine we do. Let's just measure that. Get the meter on camera. So that's 12 volts. So that's ground. So this should just measure open, and it does. If we do the other way around, it should hopefully measure 0.6 volts ish. And it does, so we have like a protection diode in this FET or something, meaning I don't need to bother putting anything over there. I'm too lazy. This is not going to be a high quality build anyway. So here's some wire for our choke. So we need to hook that to ground as well as 12 volts. We have ground right here, so yeah, there's actually no point getting the like double wire all the way over there. Why did I take the double wire? That's completely pointless. Oh well. We can undo the doubling. So this can go, let's see, I don't want to run it right by the connector because then it's going to get destroyed when we try to disconnect that, so it's going to go meh, like so. So come on, stay in place, please. So that goes there. And we'll solder that in place. Like so. And we can tin the end of that, and we can like so. And our 12 volts goes there. Beautiful. So so that's 12 volt for switching the relay. And now we need our ground to go to, like, straight to the negative lead there. Like a tiny bit of wire is all we need. Hang on. This via goes straight through, so we actually have ground in that diode there, so we can just jumper it like 7 millimeters and we're fine. So we don't even need the insulated wire for this. I'm just going to take a bit of green single core in 2019. Now we're going to need a smaller soldering iron tip. Wait for that to heat up for a second. Anthony Valente says, and we can like... Pfft. I have no idea what you mean by that. This is a bit annoying. Flow solder, please. Heavy ground layer right there. We're going to have to take the temperature up a notch. And we can probably add a little bit of extra flux there. Now, Anthony Valente says, you said it earlier when blobbing soldering the MOSFET. I see. I see what you mean now. Thank you for clarifying. So, that should be okay. Warm now, and we'll... Jesus Christ. My compressor just gave me a heart attack. A bit of solder there. And we can... be slightly professional and like do a bend around the leg there. Like so. And now we can just blob a shit ton of solder on there, and it's going to stay forever. So that's stuck down in the relay, and now we can just put so much solder on here that it'll just... yeah. Absolutely beautiful. This is quality. Focus, please. There we go. So that relay is now going to turn on when we see 12 volts on this side of the relay, which is 12 volt going out of the power supply. Excellent. Excellente. So now all we need to do is add a 12 volt ATX connector to... oh yeah, we also need to add 12 volt in, which is going to come from there. And we can use some ATX wiring for that. So we're not going to be seeing huge amounts of power, so I'm fine using like a single lead for this. It's going to be absolutely fine. Although I want to get rid of the old solder on this, because it's going to be annoying. I think this thing might actually be lead free. It feels lead free. Where did my wire go? So we'll like twist that up. Here's a trick: you tin the wire first, then you cut it. That makes your end a lot cleaner, and it allows you to compensate for sleeve shrinkage, because you can see the sleeve is shrinking there. And if we were to have cut this to the exact length before tinning it, we'd have more exposed wire than we want. But if we cut it now, we can just do it just how we like so. Fresh tin goes on the connector, and we just shove them together, reflow. This tip is getting a bit worn. It feels as if it's losing power. That's super ugly. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So we'll like jumper that to there. Meh. We'll bend the end of that. I like to just bend it up before putting it around the pin, because now it's really easy to just hold that in place while soldering it. In fact, we don't even need to hold it in place. We can take some tweezers or side cutters and squeeze that around, and now it's going to hold itself. Hopefully. This has a tendency to ping away, but well, hopefully it doesn't. Meh, good enough. So now we have an extra switch 12 volt coming out of that pin. So we can just take our ATX 12 volts, strip these guys out. Probably want quite a bit on these. Our genuine Corsair wiring. Twist these together. And do the same thing where we bend them and just clunk them around the pin there. We want to use pliers to squeeze those because they are so fat. And that's going to be absolutely fine. For our purposes, this is so big, I want to use some extra flux to allow it to flow more easily. And we'll just shove so much solder in this, like €1 worth of solder. There we go. And now of course we also need ground. Well, we technically don't need ground to our ATX power connector, but we'll connect it anyway. We could definitely get away with just using chassis ground for this, but yeah, let's be a little proper. Just a little. So we'll do this on the underside of the board, since it's easier, so we're going to be getting rid of a solder there as well. Blob it here. socket, and that did absolutely nothing. Come on. Get sucked. That didn't do as much as I wanted it to, but meh. Put a bunch of solder on that, put a bunch, a bit of extra flux on this wire as well. Someone's asking what solder I'm using. I am using Crystal 400. I'm not particularly recommending it. It's pretty expensive. It's very repeatable. Like, you know what you get. It has quite weak flux. So it's not like super easy to use, but it does provide good quality results as long as you keep everything clean and nice. We could just scratch off a bit of this solder mask on the ground there to provide a slightly bigger footprint for our ground, because it's going to get violenced around a bit, so we'll just use a blade. Like so, and we will blob it in. Blob it in. Excellent. Ground goes there. Oh god, this pot tip is not going to be happy doing this. My fingers are on fire. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, painful. So that's fine. And now we have a power supply that should hopefully power our little i5 machine. So we've just added a relay which is switched by the 12 volt rail and provides power to our ATX 12 volt connector. Someone in chat says that you can't get leaded solder anywhere. Well, that's terrible. That's really terrible. I guess I should have stocked up. But perhaps we can get used to lead free. This is 6337, so I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts. Anyway, let's see what happens when we try to power our PC. I think this is going to work just fine. Once we have cleared enough space for the PC, that is. We still need to modify our wiring loom to accommodate our SATA connector. So here's the PC. Beautiful. What? Something with tink? We have a loose screw there. I have the I/O plate for this thing somewhere. Let's just bolt it down with like one screw for the time being. Well, two. Oh, those are the wrong ones. Stainless steel screws. There we go. Let's. I picked like a shit ton of random DDR3 out of the trash today. Let's see if any of these work. These are fresh out of the trash, untested. This is 2 gigabytes, 10600 DDR3, so from the Stone Age. I wonder if this has ever been used. Ah, yeah, it has. It's an HP number. Oh man, I wonder where my alcohol is. I'm severely incapacitated when I can't clean the connectors. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. Why are you not going in? Oh yeah, the RAM slots on this motherboard are complete garbage, that's why. So here's the audio amp. We can probably get rid of the IDE to compact flash adapter. I don't think that's going to do us any good. How's that connected? They've just shoved some leads into the floppy connector, so we can just snippety snip those. Let's snip this really nice and tight. So as to not provide more short circuit potential than needed. That is... oh god, I just snipped the wrong ground. Rip me forever. I guess I have floppy connectors. No longer grounded. I don't think we're going to need that anyway. There we go. We have floating ground. Ha. Audio amp. So now we really need to just reattach the audio amp. I think it was bolted down like that. Let's just put a screw in it so it doesn't short, because we have 12 volts going straight into this thing. And I don't want to get rid of the audio amp. I like having an internal speaker, and it's a pretty good speaker too. Like these sound okay. The sound quality is pretty okay. There we go. So beautiful. So that's the power supply end, and this is our newly installed Corsair ATX 4-pin. We'll just put that on the side for the time being. Let's get everything in shot though, just in case there's fire coming out of something. So here's our ATX 20 pin. Let's hope this motherboard doesn't care about the other ones. I don't think it does. No motherboard does. That should be all we need. We could even hook up the front panel audio thing, but I don't remember which pin it was. Oh, that's going to be AC97, not HD audio. Let's try it anyway. Let's see. So this is the thing it was hooked up to. It was the one by the edge. So if we do that, we now have original audio. We're not going to get any sound out of it because we don't have an OS. Hey, we might actually have an OS. This drive should have Windows on it, but we don't have a SATA power connector, so it doesn't matter. let's just see if this thing will power on at all. Oh, we don't have a VGA output on this thing. Not to worry. We have adapters. Yeah, I'm not... Wish I had a better camera setup for catching the monitor, but the monitor's like over there, so you basically have no shot of seeing it no matter what I do. Okay, all we need now is power, and that will be supplied by my 4 amp lab power supply, which could have a bit of a problem powering this thing, but we'll see what happens. You can get a view, let's see, of the power supply, or my ugly mug. Like so. Maybe at least have something. Oh, or my ugly mug. But let's just turn this on. Probably want a keyboard as well, just in case this actually works. Okay. So it's doing nothing. Oh yeah, we're probably going to need the power button, because this does not turn on automatically. Power switch. How that goes over there. Okay. Try number 2. Drawing a bit of power in standby. Drawing 3 amps, so it's doing something. Hey, it's booting. We have picture. We have picture. It works. It works. A bootable device has not been detected. Please refer to the product guide at something@intel.com. So this actually works. That just means we need a SATA connector, which is only going to power an SSD, so we need the floppy to power the amp because going through there. We're going to have a hard drive on the same power wire as a bloody audio amp, which is horrifying, but whatever. Let's just attach this thing. So this is just a SATA power connector or riptide or something. Someone asks, which board and CPU is this? This is an Intel something board with an i5 650 in it. So it's a first gen core processor. Low end, old, inefficient, not very good, full security holes. But this is just a fun toy. So let's bring out a reference SATA connector to see how this is supposed to go together. So this goes like so. Oh man, this is such a mess. This is such a mess. But we have a 3.3 volts right in the end, then we have ground, 5 volts ground, 12 volts. So this can go like ground, 5 volts ground, 12 volts. Meh. God damn it. volts ground, 5 volts ground. Stay in place. This is difficult. Fiddly. Grind 5 volt, grind 12 volt, and it's the right way around, right? Grind 5 volts, grind 12 volts, yes. So let's apply some brute force to this and turn it into something beautiful. Or just to stab my desk. Yeah, this is... Come on. Ground. 5 volts. Ground. I said ground. In there. Get in. And 12 volts. Like so. These should be decent. 5 volt looks a bit dodgy, so let's give it some extra persuasion. There we go. That's quite alright. That is a thing of beauty. Where did the back cover go? There it is. Oh, you can see my forehead. That's lovely. Okay, so that's our SATA connector. Someone says, looks like you'd have to be creative if you wanted a GPU in there. Yeah, we're gonna have enough trouble cooling the poor CPU given that the case literally is touching the CPU cooler. And we have a sound card. We have a sound card. But yeah, I think we can actually boot Windows onto this thing and get sound out of it. Because this drive should contain Windows that boots on this thing. If I can find a SATA cable. I have a million SATA cables over here. In the deep dark dungeons. SATA cable acquired. Into random port. Into there. Let's see what this thing does. Fine. Fine, I'll give you guys a view of the monitor because we're getting so softwarey. We are getting so softwarey. That's the monitor. That's the monitor. Watch how the autofocus is going to completely destroy itself. Someone asked, is that sound card homebrew? The people who made this thing, I think they just bought a bunch of cheap China speakers and slaughtered them to build the internal sound system. Because this obviously comes out of some speaker thing. Anyway, we have hard drive, we have power, we have a bunch of wires underneath the power supply which I can do short everything out. But in theory, God, wires everywhere. In theory, this should work. This should work. Let's just power it on. See if we have enough power to actually boot Windows. Like we have a 4 amp power limit, current limit on this thing. If it tries to do too much stuff, it's just gonna die. and it's doing something very wrong. What on earth is going on there? Why are you doing that? Maybe we don't want that thing. No, I don't think we have enough power to actually start the hard drive proper. I think we are going to need a much bigger power supply. But we have a bigger power supply. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. "44 amps ought to do it." Ugh. Let's make sure we trim the voltage in correctly before we hook this up. .1. Okay. So this is now energized. Power on. The hard drive isn't screaming at us now. That's a lot happier. Let's see if it's going to boot. This should boot. Hey, look at that. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's hook the sound card up again. I'm hearing the hard drive seek in the internal speaker. Can you hear that? That's beautiful. That's the proper cheap old PC feel. What, you mean my Windows install that's been through like 10,000 different random computers is not genuine? You mean to tell me that this is not genuine? I think this board has really standard audio drivers, so we should be getting audio in like a while. It thinks it's got audio. We don't have an AMD graphics card, really? Really? Let's see. The sound thing is just not doing anything. But our poor old half-broken mechanical hard drive is seeking its life out, so we're just waiting for that. The mouse is not the issue. Why is my sound thing not working? It's just completely non-responsive. Oh, I want audio out of the internal speaker of this thing. Maybe we're still just booting. This thing, it's gonna be so incredibly slow. No, our disk is not completely overloaded. I guess audio is just broken on this install. Oh, that's a shame. Do we have any, like, default Windows music we can try playing? Can we, is it possible to change the sound output device in Windows Media Player? Speakers properties. Oh, it's, yeah, the sound drivers are broken. It's just saying two digital output devices which don't exist. So we're not going to be getting any audio out of this poor speaker. Well, except for the beautiful That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, good, we know this works. No need to torment ourselves any longer with that. Let's just put this thing back together. This should go together quite easily. It shouldn't be a huge problem. Let's start by mounting the power supply, because that's going to be a little interesting. A little interesting. Come on. Stupid ATX connector. So this goes, like so. Someone asks, are you going to test that with Prime 95 or something? Yeah, I'm going to have to do that at some point. I just want to get it put together now to see if we can get the case on. So this ATX cable is far too long, but I'm not going to cut 20 wires, so we're going to just deal with it. You go there. Now let's get another 2 GB of RAM in this thing. Another 2 GB of amazingly slow, crappy RAM that I don't know works. I do not know if this RAM works. Four gigs. Wow. Enough for 3 browser tabs in a modern browser. So our power cord can go around there, so we don't have it close to the audio amp, and we have to minimize horrifying noises. And it can go. I want to round the ATX connector like so, because then it'll neatly tuck away like so. beautiful. Now this is going to be complete chaos. Yeah, this zip tie has to die. So you're gonna like go over there and do that. And you're gonna go over there. And this can just like lie loosely there for the time being. This is front panel USB, which we actually have. This is front panel firewire, which we don't have. And it's also ground, which can just go away. And getting this screw in again is going to be impossible. Oh, there we go. Now this front panel stuff can neatly sneak past there. Beautiful. Let's see, we have, I know what the power button on this is. I have no idea about the pinout of anything else. So we'll just like put them in random spots and hope that some LEDs light up. Yes. We have all the wires connected. I have no idea to what. Meh. Let's also screw the motherboard in. I have an I/O shield for this motherboard, but I don't think we want it. I think we need the ventilation, so I'm just going to not install it. Oh god, there's a screw underneath there. There's a screw underneath there. Stupid stainless crap. In you go. There we go. Yeah, our front panel USBs, they're over there. I think we can actually do that if we really just completely stretch this as far as it goes. Oh god, that's amazing. That's so bad. This is like stretched like a piano chord. Hey, at least it's USB 2. That's not bad. Thought this would definitely just be USB 1. So this mongrel of a cable should probably go underneath the USB. So we have this weird hot glued in plastic thing, which we can probably get rid of because there seems to be something there which we can use to mount our 2.5-inch system drive to. So let's just rip that out. It's completely worthless. Oh, those are definitely not screw holes. They're just like brackets for something. Maybe. Maybe. If we use a bit of violence, we can bend some of this stuff up and just pry a 2.5-inch drive in there. I think this is going to work. Maybe. That's not going to work at all. That will not work. That will not work. Not for a mechanical drive, at least. We can probably shove an SSD in there somehow, but I don't have any SSDs with systems on them, so we can't get that working. Oh yeah, we have fans. Is that a fan head? Rear fan. This board does not have 3-pin fan control, so this is going to be a complete screamer. A complete screamer. And we need a SATA. Let's actually put that in SATA 0. I don't know which one's SATA 0, let's say it's that one. Like so. Now this can like fold over nicely, go behind there, below here, below there, and end up by the drive, upside down. Click. This is not the final drive, so I'm going to have a chance to clean this up a bit. What's this? Oh, that's for DC in. We do need the DC in. And this complete chaos can go. This is amazing. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's so bad. Yes. That's excellent. All of this can just like go out of the way of all the fanage. And I think now we can put the case on and this should still boot. We don't have audio, sadly, because our drivers are broken, but this should close up. There's a loose screw in there. Okay. Oh God, the case goes on the inside of all this crap. It's not going to be a problem once our router was a bit better. There we go. Ha! This has an i5 in it. Isn't that a beauty? An i5 powered directly from a wall wart, which is less beautiful. But it should be an i5 that I think I have all the drivers for, so maybe we can try and reinstall the same drivers and get it to make some noise through a terrible internal speaker. Power comes from... Where did my power cord go? That's my power cord. We're plugged in. Let's see if any of the LEDs are going to work. Both of them are on. The hard drive is spinning. Beep. Picture. But the hard drive LED is wrong. The fans are turning. These fans are actually not that bad. Quite quiet. Let's see if we can fix the LEDs. So obviously hooked the hard drive LED to the power LED. So the power LED is just not gonna be connectable, I think. So I think that can be the hard drive LED. Maybe that can be the power LED. What's this like? Oh, we now have a hard drive LED but no power LED. Is that just the wrong way around? Come on, baby. Give me power LED. Hey! And that seems to be setting the power LED on fire. So that was some like 5-volt supply going straight into the power LED. So we're going to have to like rearrange the power LED wire a bit, but that's no biggie. We can just poke it slightly. Come on. This has a 2-pin power LED 8-bit from motherboard. So this should now work, except we almost ruined the power LED by hooking it up to whatever we did. But we now have a very weak and tired power LED and a working hard drive LED. Beautiful. And a case that is surprisingly easy to install. So maybe that's the sound card it's installed. Maybe. We definitely don't have any audio drivers yet, but maybe it'll be making noise for this boot. We'll give it a shot. And we will try Prom 95 on it for just a moment, just to see what happens. What beautiful sounds this machine makes. And it does have exhaust fans, so it does have some cooling. So it does have networking. I know you're not genuine. I want to see if we can what's the audio chipset in this? If it's a Realtek, I should have drivers easily at hand. It is a Realtek, yeah, so I think I can install the drivers on it. And maybe we can get some audio out of the internal speaker. Oh, we don't have networking, never mind. Never mind, let's just do a bit of benchmarking in the stream. I'm done for. So, that's our temps, 30 something idle. I don't know if this thing has thermal paste. Prime 95. This could go up in smoke. It's not on fire yet. This should just be loading down the 12 volts, so it shouldn't be too bad. I have a current meter. It's just drawing 6.2 amps, so it's not even that bad. 6.2 amps at 12 volts, so it's like 70, 80 watts total. 63 degrees. That's not too bad. But it is warming up still. $70 and counting. It's drawing in a bit of air. I'm not feeling any warm air coming out yet. And this is bloody well not bad for full Prime 95 workload. I can hear the fan ramping up a bit. It is exhausting a fair bit of air through the back actually. And the rear fans are starting to suck out some heat. There's definitely warm air coming out here. Noticeably warm. Very noticeably warm air. Let's get the IR gun. So it's about 30C out. About 30C everywhere. So 80C, the fan is starting to ramp up. I think it might have some 3-pin fan control because these fans are running really slow. But you can hear the fan is starting to go. This is nowhere near as bad as I thought. It's warm. Very warm to the touch. 33C on the case. And we're reaching takeoff. We are reaching takeoff. This thing's stable at 80C though. It's actually sucking air in through the front where the DVD player used to go. And I'm very surprised by the efficiency of these exhaust fans. Like, you can feel a trail of heat just moving over here. And there's warm air coming out. Like, exhaust air is 35 C now. And if we stick it in there, that's like 50. The V-regs are probably on fire. Everything in there's probably on fire. This is bloody well not bad though. I can't believe this thing can actually take this. It's not going over 80C. It's not. But then again, it is a dual core CPU, so it's not super high end. Oh wow, that. It's very warm over there, for sure. Ah, the case of this though. This is so warm. It's cooler than a MacBook though. I am curious. Ooh, that's a breath of warm air. I'm curious as to whether or not this thing actually has 3-pin fan control, because it feels as if these fans are not turning at full speed. It does have 3-pin fan control. We have just 6 volts going to the system fan. So it wasn't even maxing the fans. But everything is so warm. Like the voltage reg is going to be 50C. Wow. This is not even running that hot. Like 50C on the motherboard. This is not that bad. This is not that bad. Wow. Well, okay, I'm going to call this a oh, I want to know how hot the poor power supply is. 40. 50. 50 there, but it has 0 airflow, so that's fine. This is fine. This is absolutely acceptable. This is way better than I expected. I expected this to just be a piece of garbage, unusable. But this is actually okay. I'm going to do a bit of tuning on this off camera, and it's going to turn it into an absolutely workable machine. And it's now 1 in the morning. I'm done. So let's check the chat quickly and see what you guys have said. Let's not, because my mouse doesn't work anymore. I now have my PC neither has a keyboard nor a mouse. I have no idea what's up with that. So I can't check the chat because I have no input devices. Fucking rip. Mouse, please. Mouse, please. Nope, this has just died. It has completely died. So, yeah, I'm just going to sign off. You guys have a lovely night and make sure you enjoy yourselves. Bye.